Hey, good afternoon. Russell Hotels going live just for a couple minutes. You guys know how I do it. Happy Monday to everybody. Today is Monday, August 19th. It's about 2:48, so I'm a little late, but still early too, right? Because I had until 3 o'clock to do this. So I'm a couple minutes. I'm late as in the day, but early because I still had, I don't know, 10 minutes to get this thing off. But anyway, even if I didn't hit it by 3 o'clock, I was gonna do it anyway. But anyway, hope you guys are doing well. Let me just make sure I am live on the platforms I'm supposed to be live on. I am on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Okay. So, and then I put this shirt on, okay? So, when I'm doing my lives, my daily check-ins, which this is the daily check-in, I do this Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I also do On Air with Russell of Hotels, comes on every Tuesday, but I'm gonna talk about that later. I put this shirt on and I didn't realize that it was green, right? These are green stripes, but when it goes against the green screen, it's brown. And I didn't notice it until, like a couple minutes before this. I'm like, well, it looks brown because normally it doesn't even look like a color. It kind of looks like you can see through it. So, but I said, you know what? Hey, that looks okay, right? It kind of mirrors my skin, right? The shirt is brown, and then I'm brown. So there you go. So hey, I'm going with it, right? So give me a comment. What you think? Am I okay? Am I okay? But anyway, let me turn the comment section on. You guys can feel free to make your comments because it's all about interaction. The daily check-in is all about interaction as well as on air with Russell of Hotel. So the hotel I'm showcasing today is the Westward Look in Tucson, Arizona. And how I'm gonna get into the topic. So every time I do a daily check-in or on air with Russell of Hotel, there's a topic. Normally there's a topic, and there'll be a topic today, and I'm gonna tie in kind of this hotel with kind of the topic. Is you'll get it. You'll get it when I get to it. Okay, so I mean you'll understand why I'm laughing, why I'm chuckling. But anyway, okay, real quick, let's get through this. Let's get through this because the daily check-ins don't have to be that long. I make them long. They're drawn out because of me. Okay, but feel free to make your comments. It's all about engagement. If you have any questions at all, any comments, I am a resource for everything hotel, everything hospitality, for the most part, right? So at least give me a shot, right? So the blog, okay, I always talk about my blog. So feel free to go to my blog, which is russellofhotels.com. You can see it. Hopefully you can see that, the scroller at the bottom or the ticker at the ticker at the bottom that's scrolling. Russellofhotels.com, that's where you can find my blog, all the information that I post. I haven't posted this yet, the topic for today, but I will post it after I'm done. Okay, so feel free to go there and check it out. Just go to the blog section or the drop down, bing, click that, and it'll pop up. Okay, and everything's always an easy read, so you can take it on the go, you can print it out, you can copy it, however you want to do or whatever you want to do with it, you can do with it, and I would appreciate it. So it's all about you guys. It's never about me. Okay, so just make sure you check out the blog when you can. So the topic for today is what happens or your sales contact leaves for another hotel. Now what? So what happens when your sales contact leaves? Okay. So these things do happen, right? It's happened to me several times since I've been doing, hotel site selection. And it happened, when you're on property, it happens all the time, right? Because you leave, you don't stay at the same hotel. I'm a sales manager, I'm a director of sales and marketing. I don't stay at the same hotel for my whole career. I've been to 14 different hotels, right? And the sales, me being a salesperson or sales or director of sales and marketing, so that probably accounts for, out of the 14 hotels, at least 8 of those hotels was when I was in sales, right? So positions come up somewhere else, you get opportunities, you get promotions, you get different things. And I understand, right? Because I come from that side. So all the topics that I do a lot of them are based on my own experiences, right? So just so happened just a couple of days ago, I get this message that my sales contact for a particular hotel is leaving, right? So I'm like, and then it was a message on LinkedIn. So that's why it's important that you link in with your people, right? Because a lot of times, once they give their notice, they can no longer work at that hotel. Sometimes they give them they give them you give the 2 week notice and they're able to stay there. But if you're going to a competitive hotel, a hotel within their competitive set, they're not going to allow you to stay there. Okay, so they're going to basically walk you, going to pay you out and show you the door. I mean, that's just basically, what happens, right? So this particular person, he sent me a message on LinkedIn saying that, we had just booked a program there. He said, I wish I could see this through, but an opportunity came up that he couldn't pass up. So I'm like, dude, I understand. I understand. So what I did was took that same information and gave it to my client, right? Just let them know what was going on, just in case, because their program is actually coming up next month. And, and she was more excited about him getting a new position. So she was happy. She goes, "Oh, I loved him. He was great," and blah blah blah. Well, congratulate him for me on his new role, in his new position. That was it, right? And that's basically how it should be, right? So why become unglued and all this stuff when people leave? Because I've seen that side when people leave, like, "Oh my God, the sky is falling" or whatever. People leave, okay? People leave, especially within this industry. If you never experience it, you stay in the industry or work with the industry long enough, and you will experience people come and go. People will leave, right? So what do you do though? How do you handle that situation? It's more about what do you do moving forward than like, I'm going to call that guy and say, you can't leave yet until my group is come and gone. That ain't never going to happen. So, but anyway, what should you do? So you leave, what should happen then? Okay, well, I got a couple of things for you. I'm glad you asked that question because I have a couple of things for you. Okay, when your sales contact leaves for another hotel, it's crucial to manage the situation carefully to ensure continuity in your relationship and ongoing business dealings. Here's what you should do. Boom. Number one, contact the sales, the new sales contact or whoever in sales. Because a lot of times they don't even know who it is yet. Maybe they haven't hired anyone, but someone has to take over or assume those accounts until they get somebody in place. So, like I said, a lot of times they will walk the people, meaning they will show them the door if they're going to a competitive hotel. And I know that because I've gone to competitive hotels, and the minute that I give the notice, within an hour, I'm paid out and I'm exiting. I'm getting my stuff with security and I'm leaving, right? So it does happen. Like I said, I get it. I understand. So if appropriate, reach out to your former sales contact, congratulate him or her in their new position. Maintaining a positive relationship could be beneficial for future networking opportunities. Yeah, it's good that he called me and told me he was leaving, because now I know it's not going to be a surprise. And then he's going to another property, right? How do we know that I won't use his next property? We don't know, because I liked him, right? We follow who we like, who we respect, all that kind of stuff, right? So it's always good to maintain that relationship. But I know some people, some clients that they won't call if a person's leaving, they'll never do business with them again. Like, oh my God, I can't believe they left. You know what? It's a new opportunity. I understand. And hey, all the best. That's all I say. All the best. Good luck. Let me know. Give me your contact information when you land, when you get settled in at your new property. That's exactly what I said. And I said, thanks for letting me know. I'll go ahead and let my client know as well, and we'll move forward. That's all you can do. So once again, what should you do? Reach out immediately. Okay, that's one thing. If appropriate, reach out to your former sales contact to congratulate them on their new position. Maintaining a positive relationship can be beneficial for future networking and opportunities. Okay, then also contact the hotel immediately to inquire who will be taking over your account or project. Now, see, if you're in limbo, say you were negotiating and things like that, and that person leaves, it's totally different than if the contract is already signed, because most of the time in most hotels, if you sign your contract, the salesperson is the one that assists you with signing the contract. So they're that initial sales contact, right? Then after that, a lot of times it's turned over to another department, another person, convention services, conference services, whatever they call it. Sometimes it's a catering manager, depending on how big or small the property is. But bottom line, a lot of times the salesperson, the same person that assisted you in signing the agreement, is not the same person that it's turned over to. So in my case, um, it didn't matter, right? Because the contract had already been signed, it had already been turned over to convention services. But moving forward, we still want to make sure I know who the next person is, right? Because this, the client that I'm dealing with, that we're going to this one particular hotel, this could be a multi-year thing, right? We haven't signed any multi-year agreements. We're going to get through this one first and then move on to maybe sign another or maybe two more for next year. You know what I mean? So at that point, yeah, we need to know exactly who this new person is and let them know, who we are, what we represent, and we kind of move forward from there. So contact the hotel immediately, inquire who will be taking over your account or project. It is important to establish continuity as quickly as possible. So yeah, you want to make sure you know if they put a person in place there or who the interim person is, whatever it is, whatever the case may be. You want to make sure you know who you're dealing with, and you want to make sure they know who you are as well. So it's a two-way street. Request a transition meeting. That's number 2. Request a meeting or call with the new sales contact to introduce yourself and discuss the status of your ongoing projects. If you do have any ongoing projects, this meeting should cover any current bookings, pending contracts, and any specific needs or preferences you have. Yeah, let them know what you need, all that stuff. Let them know what was promised by that last person, right? Oh, well, so-and-so promised me this, so-and-so promised me that. If the contract hasn't been signed, then that's okay. But just keep in mind this. A lot of times when people leave, sometimes, I don't do this, but I've been on the other side of this, right? I've been on the side of the hotel when I worked for a hotel where, say, a sales manager or a previous sales manager left, went to another property, and then the client comes in and says, oh, so-and-so promised me this, or they said this, they said that. Well, let me just tell you this. If it's not in the contract, it's not going to be honored, okay? So make sure all those things that you want are in that original contract, because we are not going to go back and say, oh, well, yeah, Joe Joe told you that? Okay, well, let me go ahead and give it to you because Joe told you. Although it's not in the contract, no one's going to do that. So make sure those things are in the contract. If they're not in the contract, the hotel is under no obligation to accept it and to put it into play. That ain't gonna happen. Okay, so just make sure everything you need is in that contract, because you never know if that person that you're dealing with is going to be there when your group comes. Just saying, it happens all the time. And like I said, we're just lucky on this one where the contract was already signed. Okay, so there's nothing, and whatever the client want, we got. Okay, so no one can say anything about that. So just make sure that happens, because that's a huge thing. Huge, not huge, but huge. But anyway, let's see, where was I? Request a meeting, call this. Yeah, okay. Then the second one, go over any existing agreements or contracts with the new contact to ensure that they are fully aware of your expectations and the details of your partnership. Yeah, so those are things that I can do now. So when I find out who the new contact is, I'll just let them know that, hey, and I'll wait until after this is over, meaning the meeting that we have in September is over. Then moving forward, if my client is interested in, having another event there the next year or whatever, then we can go over the contracts from the previous year, the previous time, and then we can go and make sure some of the new contract mirrors the old contract as close as we can get. We know rates will go up every year and things like that. So we're kind of aware of that. But, there's some other things, that some concessions, make sure some of those concessions are still in place, so there you go. So those are things that you would need to do. Number 3, reconfirm upcoming events and arrangements. Double check the details. Ensure that all upcoming bookings, meetings, or events are on track. Reconfirm all details, including dates, times, room setups, catering, and AV needs, and the new contact. Well, with the new contact. So make sure the new contact knows of all those things. Update your internal records with the new contact details and any changes that might have occurred during the transition. like I said, this is more for if the contract has not been signed and you are still in negotiations. Number 5, I see. Hey, what's up, Craig? Aloha to you, sir. Thank you so much for. Let me just make sure your comment is there so we can all see it. That's California Lodging Investment Conference. That's Click. That's Craig. Craig Sullivan. He runs the California Lodging and Investment Conference. We call it Click. So go clickconference.com. Check that information out. It's coming up in March of next year, 2025. I almost said 2026. No, 2025. I want to say March 5th and 6th of next year. It's going to be at the Westin in Long Beach in the LBC. So check it out. If you haven't gone to a Click conference, you need to check it out, especially if you're into, maybe you're a hotel owner. Maybe you're interested in buying a hotel. Maybe you're an investor. Maybe you need to find funding for your hotel. All those kind of things. A management company. Maybe you just need information about it. Maybe you're interested in that stuff, interested in buying a hotel. All the players will be there. So make sure, if you're not familiar with the Click Conference, go to their website, clickconference.com. And if you want to join, you want to attend, just reach out to Craig Sullivan. Tell him Russell of Hotel sent you, okay? And, he'll probably high five you when you get there, but I'm not saying you're getting anything for free, but he'll high five you. You know what I mean? So that's worth something right there, right? But no, if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to Craig. If you need an intro, maybe I know you don't know Craig, you need an e-intro, let me know and I'll give you an intro. I'll introduce the two electronically. Boom, because that's what I do. Okay, so where was I? Damn, I forgot where I was. Evaluate the relationship. After your initial interactions with the new sales contact, assess how well they understand your needs and how comfortable you are with them handling your account. That's huge, right? You want to make sure that they understand, they get it. But everyone doesn't get it. And some people will try to change things midstream. And if that's not what you want, you let them know. Because remember, you're still evaluating the hotel, regardless who's in charge or who's your sales contact or whoever. You're still trying to evaluate what's going on. Is this the right fit? Did this program work well? Or were they receptive to maybe some changes and things like that? So, all those things matter. So just make sure that you do have to evaluate and reevaluate what's going on. So that's not a problem, I don't think. Well, it could be a problem, but I think that's a good thing. I think you need to do that. Monitor the level of service. Pay attention to whether the service level and communication standards remain consistent. If there are any issues, address them promptly with the contact or escalate if necessary. Escalate meaning take it to another level. If you're not getting anything on this level, take it to the higher level. You know what I mean? Sometimes that does happen, but I don't anticipate any of that stuff happening in my program. Always go into it with a good attitude as well, right? Everything's going to work out. Regardless who's there, everything's going to work out. At least that's what I'm saying, right? And my client is saying it too. I have to say that. I have to maintain that for my client. Number 5, maintain communication with the hotel. Stay engaged. Keep communication lines open with the hotel to ensure you are kept informed of any further changes. Regularly check in with your new contact to ensure everything is progressing smoothly. Hey, you want to know what's going on. You want to make sure that they're still there. Because I've seen situations where, one person leaves and another person leaves. The person that took over for that person actually leaves too. I'm like, now there's a problem. There's something going on, right? So just make sure you maintain communication. If that's via phone, if that's via email, however you normally keep in communication, make sure you do those things. Build the relationship. Take the time to build a strong relationship with a new contact, just as you did with the previous one. This will help ensure continued success in your dealings with the hotel. There you go. Number 6, consider the impact of your business. If the change significantly impacts your relationship or service level, you may want to review your options. This could involve exploring relationships with other hotels or revisiting terms with the current one. So if things are not working the way you thought they should or you think they should work out, then you got to let people know. You got to let people know. And sometimes we have to go to we got to, take our show on the road, So just make sure things are progressing the way you want them to. If this has a huge impact on your business, on your meeting, sometimes we got to go somewhere else. So, but let people know what's going on. Let people know what you're dealing with, or things that didn't happen like you thought they would. And that's where a post meeting would be sufficient. Meaning, once the meeting is over, you sit down with your sales contact, your convention services, your conference services, maybe food and beverage director. You have like a post con meeting, and you go over the things, what worked, what didn't work, things that we could improve on, all those different things. We have to make sure we do those things when a meeting is over. Because sometimes we consider coming back, but maybe we won't come back because some of the things that happen. And we know that, sometimes even in our best efforts, hotels will fall short. But we have to let them know, what they did and what you think, they can do to improve things as well, right? A lot of times they want to improve and they will improve. At least they'll try, right? So sometimes you got to give them a chance. But sometimes you're like, you know what? This is too much. I don't think we're going to come back here again. So it's up to you, but just make sure you consider the impact of your business and if things are going the way that you want them to go. And then Craig he said something. Let me put that up there. Craig said, let me drop that down a little bit, but I can't see it. It says, truth. I went through a complete new sales team and GM. They didn't understand our needs. There you go. Thank you so much, Craig. So let me put that back up there again. So yeah, sometimes the new staff, that they don't get it, and sometimes they don't want to get it. You know what I mean? They're so stuck in, that's at my last hotel, this is what we did, so we're not going to do it at this hotel. So believe me, I dealt with all these kind of things, and you want to try to make it as easy as you can for the client, right? Because it's all about the client. It's not about you. Okay, you moved into this new position, and we understand that, but it's about the client. Okay. So we're not saying that the client trying to get over on you. If it's in the contract, it's in the contract. Make sure we execute the contract the way it's written, right? And that's all we want. In the contract, let's move forward with the contract. Is it in the agreement? Yeah, it is. Okay, well then we can move forward. Then I expect these certain things, right? Now, if it's not in the contract and I'm saying, well, hey, Steve told me this. Steve told me he was going to give me that. Steve said he's going to give us free parking. The first 20 people that came in, we're going to get free parking. Well, it's not in the contract. Well, that's what Steve said. Well, get Steve on the phone. No one's going to get Steve on the phone. So just make sure those things are in the contract. Those are examples, okay? I'm just giving examples, right? So make sure those things are in the contract, because those things are important, because you never know. This is how you have to do the contract, right? Write the contract, or have them write the contract like the people that you're dealing with now won't be there when your event comes in. That's how you have to have the contracts written, because this happens more times than not, that the same people that are involved in the planning of your event are no longer there when your event actually happens. So just make sure that does happen. So anyway, Craig has something else. He says, unfortunately, they also didn't understand we had several hundred hotel people attending, including their own brand people. Yeah. So yeah, sometimes they don't understand the magnitude of some of these meetings. Okay. Who's there? What's the nature of this meeting? Why are you having it here? What do you hope? What's the objective of this thing? These are things that people don't ask. Like, what is the objective of this meeting, of this event? You need to know that. They need to ask you that. We tell them, but they need to go back and tell their people, meaning in their staff, all those meetings that hotel people have, their staff meetings, their sales meetings, their ops meetings, whatever the hell meetings that they have. They need to make sure they're telling or informing their staff what's going on. Hey, this group just signed with us. They're coming on this date. We'll talk later about it as we get closer, but these are the things, these are their hot buttons or whatever. These are the things they're looking for. So people know exactly what well, what exactly do they do? Oh, well, they plan Click Conference. They have there's a myriad of people there. There's going to be brands there. There's going to be lenders and management companies, and even our management company is going to be represented there. They need to be aware of who these people are. You know what I mean? They just have to be aware of what's going on. So sometimes we, as salespeople, we don't explain the whole thing. We just want to get rates, dates, and space. Okay, that's all we care about. Well, the rate is $200 the space is available, so we're giving it to them, and the dates are this. No, give us the specifics or the details of this meeting. Who exactly are the players, right? And what do they expect? A lot of times we don't do that, and I think we drop the ball when we do that. Catering and sales has to have an open line of communication. That is correct. With each other or with the client? Hopefully with each other and hopefully with the client. Yeah, they should. They should. But sometimes, you know, we all fall short, I guess. I'm gonna say on property level. I've been on property before, so I mean, I've been on property more than I have not been on property. So both, yes, yes, yes. So yeah, so we all need to be, in lines of communication with each other internally as well as outwardly, meaning to the client as well. So if there's questions asked, if there's emails that may affect both departments, we both need to be copied on those things, or you need to send that information to your sales contact. Because a lot of times, sometimes these hotels, there's going to be a sales component, a sales manager, and then they can be, they can partner with a catering person. They could do that, or like I said, once a contract is signed, it gets turned over to a convention services person or a conference services person, depending on the size of the hotel, is what they call that particular person. But that person's kind of like part catering, part rooms, but they collect money. They do all those things, rooming lists, all those kind of things. They kind of detail the whole program, right? So once it's signed, it gets turned over, and then the salesperson has nothing to do with it anymore. They just walk away from it because they're working on the next piece of business. And I understand it because that's where I was before. But I've also worked in properties where we sold it and we serviced it. So it just depends on the hotel. And then as the hotels gets bigger, then everybody's departmentalized, right? This is what I do. Then I turn over this person. That person does that person does that. So everyone has their own role. So a lot of times as meeting planners, I need to know exactly, the details of once it gets turned over, once it's signed, what happens then? Who takes it over then? So I know this. I knew it before I even got into meeting planning or hotel site selection. I knew how it was going to work because remember, I worked in hotels, right? I worked in sales. So I know all the options, all the different details of it, right? But sometimes we have to ask those questions like, okay, once this contract is signed, who am I going to talk to now? Oh, you're going to talk to Sally. She's in convention services. Oh, okay. All right. We'll have Sally give me a call so we can hash out the details, the AV and all that kind of stuff. The salesperson's out of it at that point. So everything else goes through Sally. So I'm giving Sally the credit card, the rooming list, my AV needs, menus, whatever our selections are, meal selections, all that is going through Sally. So, and then when that's over, then if I want to rebook it again, I go back to Jimmy. Say Jimmy was my salesperson. I go back to him and say, hey, we're thinking about bringing that back again. Okay, great. Okay. Want the same amount of rooms and all this kind of stuff? Yeah. Okay. We go from there. So hopefully you guys understand a little bit what I'm saying. Let's see what else Craig said. Always ask questions. Yes, there are no questions that are dumb questions, especially if it's your darn event. You need to ask as many questions as you can. You need to understand everything, okay? And if they give you that, that kind of like you should know that. Well, no, don't take offense to that. You just continue to ask questions. If they can't answer if they cannot answer the question that you're asking them, that's an issue. And I don't have a problem with escalating things, meaning escalate to the next level. Well, who's your boss? Can I speak to your director? Because you're not making any sense, okay? And sometimes you have to do that. Your event and your money. Yeah, it's your event and your money. That you are absolutely right. So ask all the questions that you need answered because you are spending your money. It is your event. It's not their event and it's not their money, okay? It's their money once you give it to them, right? But no, make sure you're asking all the questions you can. And if you don't know the questions to ask, I'm a resource. Reach out and touch. Yeah, so I'm here to answer any of those questions. If you have questions about different things that they put in agreements, addendums, all that kind of stuff, because sometimes these things are, they can be 20 pages long, 20, 30 pages long. Some of these contracts. And a lot of the contracts now they're through, what do they call them? They're electronic now. What do they call them? Almost like I can't even think of what they're called now. They're digital sign. You're signing it digitally, and everything goes through a certain thing, especially with Marriott and Hilton, right? So gone are the days that well, it's still companies that do that. DocuSign is what I'm trying to say. Gone are the days of, I'm gonna email you this contract. You print it out, you sign it, and you scan it and send it back, right? No, everything for the most part, at least all the contracts I signed this year and last year, have been like a DocuSign, where you sign it and they automatically get a copy of it, send it back, they countersign it, all that stuff. And then with Marriott, everything is tied into Marriott and Hilton. Everything is tied into, like, say, I get commission from the stuff that I book, right? So it's tied into that, right? So once the contract is done, they put in the numbers, the pickup numbers, and those automatically go to the commission department or whatever. So they compile everything, and it's all digital. And I don't get a check anymore. It gets electronically deposited into my account. So everything is like so automated now, which I love. As long as things go the way they're supposed to, as long as I get my money when I'm supposed to. And but it's 30 to 40 days, 40 days, boom, in your account. And they actually, you can check to see when that date is and all that stuff, right? I don't know how I got on that, but probably because Craig was saying some things. It just made me think of some other things. See how that happens when people make comments or engage like Craig is. It brings up other stuff, and then I can bring other things up that can be important to some of the things that we deal with when we're dealing with meetings, right? So all those things I talked about, all the things that Craig is asking or commenting on, these are all things that we deal with meetings or events or groups. Okay, so this is good. This is a good topic. Good job, Russell. Topic. So, but anyway, so let me just wrap this up real quick. So these are things, once again, your sales contact leaves for another hotel. What now? What? There's no need to panic, okay? But there's 6 things you should do. Reach out immediately, request a transition meeting, reconfirm upcoming events and arrangements, evaluate the relationship, maintain communication with the hotel, and consider the impact of your business. Boom, there you go. So for more detailed information, I'm going to put this on my website under the blog. Okay, so go russellofhotels.com, click on the blog section, and you'll see the same information in detail. Say I just give the bullet points and I talk about the detail, right? Well, when I put it on my blog, all the details will be there as well. Okay, so there you go. That's what I do. That's what I do. So anyway, remember On Air with Russell of Hotels, that live hospitality talk show that everyone's talking about. Well, that comes on tomorrow. That's on Tuesday at 1 o'clock. We're back to the normal time now, 1 o'clock, right? That's also a podcast, right? So you can go to podbean.com, but that's after the show's over. You can go there and click that, take me on the go, however you want to do it. And I also put that same recording on my website, so you can actually go to russellofhotels.com. Go to the podcast section, bing, hit that, click it, and you'll hear me talking. Boom, instantly. And it's by show number. So tomorrow's show will be 266. I think show number 266 tomorrow. So there you go. So just make sure you guys are tuning in and checking it out. And that's live on LinkedIn, live on YouTube, and live on Facebook. There you go. There you go. So any questions at all, I am a resource for the hospitality industry, specifically when it comes to meetings, marketing, branding, all that kind of stuff, even operational stuff, right? So maybe you got questions about operational things. Hey, I'm here to help. I'm here to, shed some light on the situation or a topic that you may have or whatever, a question, because that's what I'm all about. I wouldn't be Russell of Hotels if I couldn't answer any questions about the hotels, right? Maybe you have some issues and you're like, I need to know what my recourse is for this. I need to know who to escalate this to. I mean, call me and, we'll go from there. So Russell at russellofhotels.com is my email. You can call me if you want, and you can just go to russellofhotels.com. My phone number is right there. any way you want to communicate. It's all about you. It's not about me, right? So it's not about how I want to receive it. It's how you want to initiate it, right? So if calling works better for you, well, that's why my phone number is on my website. If emailing is better, that's fine. That's why I'm giving you my email. If you want to DM me, if you want to instant message me or in message me on LinkedIn, you can do that too. People do it all the time, right? So there you go. That is it. So once again, thank you, Jen. Thank you, Jen. Thank you again for joining this daily check-in with Russell of Hotels. This comes on every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay, that's 4 days. And then that 5th day is On Air with Russell of Hotels, that live hospitality talk show that everyone's talking about. Okay, so you got 5 days of me. Whether you want it or not, you got 5 days of me. So boom, there you go. No, that's it. So anyway, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Craig. I appreciate your comments. You're always so timely. Always so timely. So yeah, so no, thank you guys so much. And feel free, like I said, just like Craig made comments, everyone is welcome to make the comments, okay? So feel free. We're at 36 minutes. Normally this takes between 15 to 20 minutes. So, but because Craig was asking questions, I welcome that. So sometimes we do go over, and that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. So thank you so much, Craig. Appreciate your comments. And that's it. So we'll see you again tomorrow at 1 o'clock PST for On Air with Russell of Hotels. Show number 266. I think it's 266. It could be 267. I could be losing it right now. But it's either 266 or 267. So anyway, until tomorrow, you guys have a great day. And as always,